Hi, this is Joe again with another review. I'm saying in this video, we're going to be discussing the 1951 film Love Nest. Well, I believe it was 1951. I had to double check on my phone. Well, the movie Love Nest, of course, stars Marilyn Monroe and for earlier. Yeah, 1951. I might have to double check. It's a 1951 film Love Nest, starring Marilyn Monroe and one of her early roles. I mean, she's been doing a lot of movies that came out in 1951, 52, and 53. At the height of her career. Like the story at the height of it. And of course, the problem is, like a lot of the other movies that have been recently reviewing the story of Marilyn Monroe, that she has a very, very small part. She's only in, you count a couple of fingers how many scenes that she was actually in this film. Well, the movie is not from the usually when you think about Marilyn Monroe film, it's usually from her point of view or of her as the main character. She wasn't. Not in this film. Until like at least 2 years later, where she was more established and she became a one of the two main characters. By 1951, she wasn't the main character yet. He was just a hot blonde, smoking a hot babe and doing these films. Well, the movie Love Nest, it stars a married couple, and I forgot who the actors who two main characters are, but the husband was, like I said, it was a married couple at the end of World War II, and the husband comes home from the war and finds out that his wife made an investment. You saved up all the money that the husband made before the war, and of course all the checks, that money that he sent home for her, to spend money on for the house and buy food or whatever. So she says, okay, here's money to spend. She decides to take that money, save it up, and buy an old brownstone. And a brownstone that she is like, it's large enough. It's like almost like a rooming house, which technically it was. She starts renting out some of the apartments, even though the building itself is like literally falling apart. And she's trying to do the best she can with the money she has, to do repair work. And she's renting, these little, like this one-room flats, is probably the term that was used at that time, to these wacky tenants. And each one has a different kind of each one has a different personality, and they're all pretty much crazy. Not the cuckoo crazy, but they'll drive you crazy with the personalities. And so when the husband finally comes home from the war, when he finds out what the wife did, and he goes, ay. And that's when I'm going to want to spend my first evening and alone with my wife, having sex with my wife. Instead of that, I had to deal with all these crazy people. So that's pretty much what the movie is. And the movie is quite short. It's about an hour and 25 minutes, give or take. But one of the main characters is when Marilyn Monroe comes in, is that she was a whack. There's a woman here. I don't know technically what the term whack is. To be honest with you guys, but she was a branch for pretty much all women, and they're called the whacks. They help. Sort of like, I don't know exactly what they do, but it's like for morale for the guys who were in the armed services during World War II, and so like nurses, stuff like that, and she was an army buddy, an army friend of the husband. So she says, all right. He says, I got an idea. Why don't you rent around the rooms to my friend Bobby? And of course, it's short for Roberta, because that's the character's name. Marilyn Monroe's character's name in this film. So the wife thought that she was going to be renting it out to a guy. She finds out that's Marilyn Monroe, and she got a little bit jealous there, because they thought they were fooling around when they were in the army. And of course, we all know that wasn't true, because Marilyn Monroe says, oh, he did nothing but talk about you the whole time that we knew each other overseas. And it says, oh, is that so? I said, and at first she doesn't believe her, but eventually they got along okay, no problems. Then, of course, the main bit, plot of the film is the husband is a struggling writer. He wants to actually write novels for a living or submit stories to various magazines, which was plentiful at that time in 1951. But he couldn't sell anything. Whatever he did, he couldn't sell it. So what happened was there was an older guy who they rent around the rooms out to. He's like a Don Juan. He flirts with women, and then what he does is he steals all the money. And of course, not only are the local cops looking for him, but so is the FBI is also looking for him. And they actually show up at the brownstone and the boarding house and was looking for this guy. And then the guy the Don Juan guy decides to turn himself in to the cops, which he does. And before he decides to plead guilty, which he virtually does, he decides to take the plea and spend like 2.5 years in jail, for this. He calls up the landlord the husband up, the husband of the landlord. Says, "I want you to write my story." Before he decided to plead guilty, before he talked to the feds and the cops and stuff, and the DA, "I want to talk to you." And he goes, "Wait a minute, I'm not a lawyer." I said, "Yeah, but I want you to write down my story and write my story and send it to the papers and stuff." And the guy said, reluctantly, he decides to do it because his story, or the Don Juan story, became such a huge deal, became a national story. He said, "If you're the first one to really take my side of the story and write about it, you will make money on it, and it will save the house. You won't have to sell the house if you sell my story and you can make money off of me. I'm allowing you to make money off of me." He says, "So write any forms you want to give you permission to make money off of me." The guy says, at first he was reluctant to do it, and he says, "Okay, what the hell? What do I have to lose? I'm broke anyway. I have nothing to lose." And so he writes the guy's story, writes a book, becomes a national bestseller, makes a boatload of money on this guy's story. Sold it to every newspaper and every magazine in the country, and he ends up writing a book on what happened. Happens to save the brownstone. Decides not to, because they were losing money hand over fist doing all these repairs, because they need a boatload of repairs on this brown house. Because this brown house is, thank you. This brown house was thanks again. This brown house was falling apart, and because of the money that the landlord made of writing Don Juan's story, he was able to save the house. Didn't have to sell the house. He did the repairs that he has to do. Now he starting to make money off the brown house and renting rooms out. And that's pretty much what the story is. I mean, it's a simple story. It's not that complicated. It's really a typical silly comedy of the 1950s. And if this movie came out today, people will give like if Siskel and Ebert were alive, or were doing movie reviews back then in 1951, they probably will give real crappy reviews because this movie is such a cliche, yada yada yada, and that's what people would be saying. But of course, at that time, you didn't really. Nowadays, people would make fun of a movie like this, but 70 years ago, this movie is 70 years old, folks. So you have to take. You get argued and stated because the way the clothes were, the way people acted, and the cars and everything else. But I mean, it's not a horrible story. I mean, I'm not gonna hate myself for watching this movie again. But it is, even though, like I said earlier, it's quite short, but it's a little bit. It feels slower. It feels longer than it is, but it's not a horrible film. And it's it's quite enjoyable. And even though, like I said earlier, Marilyn Monroe has a small role in this film, the problem that I have with this movie is, of course, this was part of a all-day long marathon. It was on television, because it was celebrating the 95th birthday of Marilyn Monroe. That's if she had lived. She would have been 95 years old. And so, one of those over-the-air channels, it had a ton of Marilyn Monroe movies all day long. For about at least almost 24 hours of Marilyn Monroe films. And they just threw this one in because she was in it for about 5 minutes, and that's it. And just because she's in the movie for 5 minutes doesn't mean that should be shown. They just should have shown like iconic movies, and that's it. Iconic roles. Ones where she's the main character, and not on screen for about 5 minutes, if that. And that's it. I mean, I'm serious. She must have been on screen no more than 5 minutes in this movie. And I'm not exaggerating. It has to be about 5 minutes she was in this movie. And they have it as part of the Marilyn Monroe Icon-a-thon on television. I mean, come on. So quit wasting my time. So show other movies that she's the main character in, instead of jerking us around and stuff. But the movie itself is not that bad. It's not the greatest one in the Marilyn Monroe collection, but it's not bad either. And I can see why they threw this in, but if she's not the main character, don't show it. That's my opinion. So that's my review of the movie Love Nest. Please click on the video, please rate it. Please subscribe to my channel. Please forward this video on your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews on my YouTube channel at RallyC.com, so WDY. And C.com is the homepage of Rally Reviewer Christine Moore. Please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.